we have good connection. Don't. I've got a crappy connection here. Stop giving me warnings. All right, connected. Anyways, hello, beautiful people. Thanks for joining me in another live with Esoteric Nexus. My name's Whitney. As you can tell, I'm alone again, but Braden will be joining us virtually, and we'll be figuring out how to add people to our live for the first time. You can do it too. I guess we'll wait for him to join, and then I can add him and walk you through how you could request to join as well. There should be a little icon in the corner right there that says request to join, but I guess we'll see when Braden joins what it says. But today we'll be talking about being stuck. I've absolutely felt like I've accumulated all this knowledge and I didn't know what to do with it. And the first step can always be tricky. Or you could be coming at it from a different angle and feel like you've been trying and now nothing's working, so you don't know what else to do. But either way, we'll be walking through that today. Last week, I said that I wanted to start a routine, and yeah, I want to go over how that went as well and where I'm at in starting that. My Robin will be joining virtually in just a bit. We're waiting for him to join, and then we'll figure out how to get people on the live. Yeah, so we're waiting for Braden to join. He is away on work, and he's waiting on a pizza. He was supposed to have already gotten the pizza, but they lost his pizza and they're making another one. So once he grabs that, he'll join eventually. So funny little story. As you can tell, it's getting darker earlier, and I have been collecting little lights to use while I'm here because I haven't gotten a cool little selfie light. I finally got my selfie stick, but I got some really cool lights, guys. I got this cute little witch cauldron. I thought it was perfect. Last week I got these. Where'd I put them? Oh, suckers. I got these emergency lights from the dollar store. And I was super excited to have just a little bit more light because I was trying to keep the candles lit, but it was really windy and I knew it was going to blow the candles out, so I got battery operated ones. But by the time I got here and set them up, I realized they don't come with the batteries. So before today, I went to Albertsons and stopped in and got some more lights for pumpkins, and they glow a nice golden color, and they do the strobe and the multicolor and whatnot. So multi-purpose lights, you know, I can use them for when the kids carve their jack-o'-lanterns and whatnot. And then I went and I got, went and got a big old pack of batteries, guys, so I was prepared. But these are AA batteries, and these all require AAA batteries. So like, I keep trying, and then I get here and it doesn't work. That'll tie into what we're talking about today too. Darn it. But I have this one light, and it works well enough for now. We will be moving indoors to the Sacred Grounds Coffee Studio on King Avenue East real soon. I didn't today because I saw that the weather was like 50 degrees. It's not that cold, And I was going to be prepared for the darkness, but I'll be checking the weather, and when it starts dropping and getting a little cold, we'll just pull it inside. And they've got better Wi-Fi connection there, so I won't have issues like I did or have before. So if you guys want to join for an in-person discussion, we'll soon be located over there. Brayden, where are you? So I'm gonna just start on a little something that I was thinking about. Sometimes when you're feeling stuck, depending on where you're coming from, a good thing to think about when you're feeling stuck is going over your goals and what you really want. At the end of the day, what do you really want out of what you're doing? What are you trying to achieve? I had the word in my head. It boils down to people pleasing and codependency. If you are, oh gosh, if you're trying to come at it from an angle of what other people expect from you, or this is how people did it before, it can stem from what you have taught yourself to get that feeling of love and connection and safety. So it can stem from a trauma response. And when you're feeling stuck, it's a really good time to look inwards and analyze yourself. Are you coming at it from an approach of people pleasing? Are you trying to make other people happy because you notice that other people around you are more successful than you, or at a higher point in life? There was this beautiful analogy that I heard, and I can't remember the whole thing, but it's like, it was something along the lines of life is like a marathon, or life is like a race. And what he was pointing out with that is when you're in a race, you've got the starting point and you've got the finish line. And the starting point is when you're born, and the finish line is death. And you're always racing to get to the finish line, which is death. And when you're in a race, you're always looking forward. And you've got the people in front of you, you've got the people on either side of you, and you've got the people behind you. And then you've got the people on the sidelines watching and cheering you on. So when you're racing, you're always looking ahead. But if you're focused on the people in front of you, like the people who have a house or more money than you or a better job than you, you're always focused on that. And that's an awful way to live, right? So in times like that, you would want to practice gratitude. Be thankful for the things that you do have, because if you're always wanting more, you're not going to be happy with what you have. And that's a rough state to be in. So what do you need to feel loved? We could start with self-acceptance and love yourself instead of trying to turn yourself into something. I mean, we're always trying to better ourselves, but coming at it from a point of love, loving yourself into healing, loving yourself into a better person, instead of you're not good enough until you become this, or till you have achieved this. We're always putting stipulations on happiness, you know? You can't be happy until you've reached this. You can't be happy until you've gotten this job. You can't be happy until you've put yourself in a house. In connection, You know, if you watched my live from last week, I talked about how it feels really good to help other people. If you help other people along the way, especially if you're feeling stuck, one good thing to do if you're feeling stuck is to look for other people to help. When you're helping other people, you're opening more doors that you might not have known that you needed. If you are striving for your goals and you're struggling, if you look for other people to help, those people will probably have a key to the door that you need to get further in your own life, or they'll know people that can also help you. It's I want to call it self-perpetuating. It really is. It's a self-perpetuating thing. If we go back to like the race analogy, and you are trying to look, there you are. Oh, thank goodness. All right, Brayden, where does it show? There you are. Bring them on camera. Did it work? It said bring them on camera, and I clicked add. My goodness, there he is. And that brightened my camera so you can see me a little bit better.
Hello, hello.
Welcome, Brayden.
Gotta hold my phone sideways, guys. Sorry, I don't have any fancy instruments.
I have a selfie stick. I've been yapping my mouth, trying to fill this silence while I'm waiting for you. And I told him the story about my freaking candle.
I had my own issues. My pizzas got misplaced. Well, it got burnt. They just couldn't find the pizza. The guy was running around like a chicken with his head cut off. And they ended up refunding me and getting me a new pizza. I was stoked. Like, what a great turnout, right?
So did you pay for the pizza?
I originally paid for the pizza, and then they gave me my money back.
And you didn't have to pay for the second pizza?
Nope.
Nice.
Yep. I got free pizza tonight. For sure, for sure. It's been weird. Like the other day, I did the brake fluid draining on my vehicle at the shop, and it took 2 hours because they thought they broke my vehicle, but my vehicle is just ready to be fixed, I guess. And they ended up giving me half off of my brake fluid exchange for being so patient and like not blowing up on them. And it's, I don't know, been really fun to watch my patience pay off in a very direct way. Yeah. It's wild.
Crazy.
So, tonight, what are we talking about again? Oh, yeah.
Being
starting
stuck.
Processes. Being stuck.
I was talking about coming at it from a place of people pleasing and codependency, and how it's kind of like a trauma response. You know, how you do things to try and feel loved and have a connection and feel safe. So if you're coming at it from a people-pleasing place, you're trying to do what other people expect you to do instead of what you want. You were taking forever, so I already jumped into it. And then I
that's fine.
stumbled and I didn't know what else to say.
Well, and then, you know, the whole part of being stuck is, like you were telling me earlier, having gathered a lot of information, but not really knowing where to go next with it. Like, you've got all this info, you know what you want, you've got the idea, but like, how do you start? Where do you start? I think a lot of us get stuck there because we want to start perfectly, or we want to start knowing that we're going to have success. So then we expect success of ourselves. Well, we know what happens when we start expecting things, right?
That is a good point. A good
Hmm.
point. It's always I absolutely do feel that hesitation and like, well, what if I don't do it right when I start it?
Hmm.
Or what if I mess it
Or
up?
or what if I'm wasting my money here and I should be doing it elsewhere and this isn't where I should be starting? But guys, it's reminding yourself in these what if moments that starting the process allows you to know the beginning of the process. And you might have been lucky enough to start on square one. And maybe you accidentally started on square 10, but you don't know really what that starting point is until you actually start doing the things, right? And then not allowing yourself to get overwhelmed when you're having these thoughts and knowing that everything is in the moment, right? So it's just taking that first step and seeing what comes of it.
There is nothing loving, connecting, or safe about being someone you're not. So when you come at it from that angle, it's really it is the fear because honestly, the whole I relate the whole not wanting to do it because you're not gonna you feel like you might not do it perfectly the first time or you're gonna do it wrong is that fear of not doing it the way other people expect you to or think that you should.
Yeah, or
So if
just
you're
how you perceive society thinking you should.
yeah,
Like, there's a lot of
and it's
times where,
fear. It's fear.
yeah,
So
and so
leaning into that fear allows you to explore who you are and what you actually want.
yeah, you expose yourself so you can get to the truth of matters. And then, really guys, like it's having patience with the process as it unfolds. You like starting things is always easy, or maybe it's not. For some people, it's the starting that's easy, and it's the continuation of something that's hard. And for other people, it's vice versa. Once you get it going, it's great. Keeping up is awesome. It's just getting it going. And you might find a mix of both of that. But it's recognizing the daunting feeling that we have towards something we're not comfortable with because of a lack of control or consistency, and allowing yourself to keep pushing forward and finding that momentum. You don't have to force the momentum. You're just looking for it. You're discovering. It's like in a video game when you're cave diving or dungeon diving, and you're
Right.
you're like looking through all the nooks and crannies. You're smashing that action button, trying to make sure you don't miss anything on shelves and underneath books and goodness knows where else. And so that's kind of like what you're doing with trying to find the process. You're just turning over rocks. You're just exploring.
Allow yourself to figure it out. If you are holding yourself to a standard that you think society holds or somebody else holds, you're building shame around your own individuality and your thoughts and
Well, and you're
feelings. You're allowed to mess up. That's how you start things. That's how you figure things out. You start
well,
painting. It's not
and
always going to be perfect.
and that's what success is, right? It's just learned failures. As you fail, you
Right?
learn, you grow, you're more successful. It may not be a complete success, but there is success within your trials. And then
What
it's,
what is
you
that
know,
saying? You can't spell something without fail. What is it? It's something like you can't
uh,
spell success without failure. Something like that. But obviously they're not spelled the same, so I got it mixed up with something else.
I don't know. I know what you're talking about, but it doesn't come to brain, to mind, to brain. Can't brain, right? I love it.
I don't know what you're doing over there, but there's some weird sounds. And it's too dark. I can't see. Come here. You're such a good girl. Oops, sorry, babe. Yes.
So,
Smacked your ear on the table. Good
over
girl.
the next few weeks, we're going to start start our own processes on projects that we were talking about or that we have discovered to, be able to not just have a way to track the success that's there, but so that you guys can see what success looks like in all its different forms, and we'll talk about it along the way. And it's not going to be, I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll be amazing first go around. One can only hope. There's not a lot to glean from that, but it's noticing the little successes. We're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about how we are navigating our path through trying to accomplish a goal. So, yeah, mine is going to be a self-sustaining ecosystem for my lizard. And it was inspired by a YouTube video while I was looking into the lizard that I have and trying to understand more about it. And I think that was really cool. It's a moon lizard. They are
moon lizard. We
found
originally
in parts
thought
of
it was
Turkey.
a small leopard gecko, but it's not.
Got the same colorings, but it's way too small. And it's not going to get much bigger than it already is. It'll get up to 4 to 5 inches. And I think it's already like 3, so it's, it's on its way there. Maybe it's only, no, it's so tiny. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to work on doing. Seems really daunting. The things that I found out about it is normally like a 3-month process. And I don't know, guys, like I have a hard time keeping plants alive. I'm about to make an ecosystem. So we're going to see how it goes.
It's going to be new and exciting. And that new energy is going to be what propels you through manifesting.
No, it's like mostly perspective that perspective is where it starts, you guys. It's where it starts. You got to have a good perspective. And then blossom from there. I'm sorry, you guys. I got distracted by somebody yelling at me through the window. So I don't know. My brain buzzed. I'm lost.
So what did you call it? A goal?
Well, I said goal. A goal. Yeah, we can say goal. Goal is such a cringe word. And it pushes people away because of the trauma based around the word
the new start. What's the new start that you have that you're working towards? I guess I don't know how to explain it. So
we are all like so mine is stepping into an uncomfortable zone. Like it's uncomfortable for me to deal with something that is going to be more long term instead of a one and done type thing. So it is a new beginning because I'm learning how to get past something that I feel I need to work on. And for
I am ending something, I guess, but I'm going to start something new. So last week during my live, I was talking about how I wanted to create a routine to bring some more peace in my life, and how I've been getting really short-tempered and agitated, and I'm not a cuddly person, and so after the live last week, over the weekend, I was really thinking inside my head about how I can make this routine and why I was struggling and why my emotions were so explosive. And I realized that I wasn't being completely honest with myself. I thought it was because I was lacking a routine.
It's like a change of routine is really what you're needing.
Well, in the end, I just decided I'm not going to be watching kids full time. It was a really hard step for me because I was really worried about how my sister was going to react. I was worried that I was going to be letting her down, disappointing people, that my dad was probably going to be upset with me because I didn't want to do it anymore, and that it would strain my relationship with my sister because I decided I didn't want to do it anymore. But
a lot of what ifs in that scenario.
Yeah, I'm projecting a lot of fears,
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, I've gotten better at recognizing that I was projecting that, and I was able to be honest with myself that it is mentally taxing me too much to continue watching kids full time on top of my 4 kids and all the friends and kids in the neighborhood that also come through. It's
a lot of traffic
for me right now. It's not working, and I I don't want to force it to work because that is stressing me out more. That was really hard to do, guys. That was really hard to do. Just being honest with myself that I can't handle it long term, and being honest with my sister that I love her and it's not an attack against her. It is
Well,
something that
it's your
I'm
self-care.
struggling with, and I would be happy to help her find an alternative sitter and stay with her while she's finding it. But this is me telling you that
It's time to take the
I can't
steps.
handle it anymore. So from that, I will be
Discovering.
figuring out what I'm going to do if I'm not babysitting. But I don't know about you. For me, I absolutely feel like there's a rush on it. If I stop this income, I need to hurry up and find something else right now. Right now.
That's nice.
God.
See, and that's that whole like need to have control over a situation, or that sense of needing to know, like that security, if you will.
Right. Like, what am I going to do? What do I want to do? What do I want to do?
What if you like made it even more basic instead of like what do I want to do? What if you just kind of went out and started exploring, and with the idea of like what do I want to do instead of like choosing something, kind of just be open to the suggestion of what you want to do, like have that thought ruminating in the brain while you're going out into your everyday
That is an
life. And
idea. So I would like to go around some of my favorite stores and places that I like and go visit and see if any of them have any help wanted signs or places that I really like to be. So I'm not looking for a job. In a sense, I'm looking more for another place for my energy to rest that feels good.
well, see,
Because
and that's
that's
like
one thing that I worry about with jobs, with 9 to 5 jobs, is it's such a soul sucking place that you have to be. And that's a perspective that can be shifted. But I feel like if I come at it from a point of where do I like to reside or where does my energy feel good, I like when I first started bud tending, I also went from the perspective of this is a hobby for me. This is not somewhere I have to be. This is somewhere I like to be. So I really enjoyed bud tending because it was an activity outside of the house. It wasn't a job.
yes, and it's like kind of like when I did DeBella, I did it for the betterment of being able to be more sociable with strangers, right?
That
So
still
it's
feels real
finding,
structured to me, but I like how you went at it.
yeah. Well, and that's just it. Is like I could have done anything. I could have put myself into a busy serving job, or I could have found something that was a bit more salesy in a different sense. But for me, I needed something that was going to directly put me in front of strangers. No ifs, ands, or buts. I didn't have to wait for people to walk up to me. I didn't have to convince myself to walk up to a stranger walking by. I just had to knock on a door and arrest somebody at their at their front door for 2 minutes. Just talk, you know. Um, but it was awesome for me to be able to have the experience of going to a job for the sole benefit of bettering myself versus picking a job so I can survive or so I can feel like I have enough money to go do things. Taking the temporal out of my job structure and making it more me. Like, how can what I'm doing make me better in the sense that I want to be? Or, like, how can I have my improvement?
Yeah.
And then you don't feel forced to stay in a job forever on top of that. And you'll know which job you want to stay at forever because it costs you in that way.
Right. And it's being open to it not being forever. Because
Mm-hmm.
we all would prefer that career that we stick with for, the long term, and that's where we are.
Well, you
I
got to remember,
I
change is
don't
the only
feel like
constant, right?
that. I've never really felt that kind of calling, but I have definitely. So there is, what is it called? Oh my gosh. There is a Taoist practice called Wu Wei, and translated, it means effortless action. Another way to translate it is not forcing things. And my favorite philosopher, Alan Watts, speaks about it a lot. And another way that you could put it is allowing the flow of life to just happen, just go with the flow. So when you force things to happen or you're trying to control things, you're going to get pushback. And the more you push, the more pushback you're going to get. And if you do accomplish that and you push it and you get it to where you want, it's not going to last. It's going to wear down and fall apart, or it's going to snap back at you. If you force things, it doesn't work.
So, and on that note, it's
yeah.
making, if you and if you find that you fall into that rut a lot of forcing things, it's from there, it's really paying attention to yourself and asking yourself the questions like, is this me forcing it? Is this me trying to have control? Because like I said before, control is very sneaky. It shows up in a lot of different forms, and it hides in our comfortabilities because that's where we try to stay. And so that's like another part of recognizing and trying to move forward is recognizing those moments when you are forcing things, because it's easy to say, don't force things, allow yourself to go with the flow, but we have so many knee-jerk reactions, so to speak, or built-in habits that we don't even think about anymore that really stem to that desire for control. A lot of them are taught to us as kids, and it's just an ingrained part of our pattern that we've got to kind of restructure. But it's
Practicing Wu Wei is not being passive and not doing anything. It's not. It's an
accepting things for what they are.
Action. So you are not forcing things, but you move. And if you get the pushback, you pivot. You don't stop everything you're doing. You pivot.
You're redirecting.
Like a river, dude. If the water's flowing, be like water. Flow. If there's a rock in the way, go around it. Pivot. Change direction. Just
my whole pizza situation is a good example of that. Like, by remaining calm and patient and not making it a big deal, I got a paid for pizza. Like, I got to enjoy that process. I could have been really upset and angry and ruined everybody's night, and they may have still given me a refund, but it would have been a bad taste in their mouth, and they probably wouldn't have cared about how the pizza turned out. And or maybe I wouldn't have gotten that refund at all because I was being an asshole. But just accepting that we are human and somebody made a mistake, and I don't have to be any which way. And yeah, I've got this live I've got to get to, but I don't have to make my agenda somebody else's problem in order to rush a situation and have that control. Once upon a time, I probably would have. I can think of a few times when I have. Yeah, indubitably.
I don't know what to tell you about my whole candle situation, but that's frustrating.
I think that is beautiful. What? That is a very...
always works out. Last time it worked out just fine, and right now, because Braden's in here, there's more light than there would have been previously, and it still worked out. But can't let it ruin my night. Well, it was just frustrating couple seconds because.
But talk about being stuck, right? Like you were stuck with no lights last time, so then you tried again, and you got the batteries, and then you almost didn't, and then you were struggling with trying to get it open so you could put the batteries in. So there was your progress in failure, right? And then to find out that the batteries weren't the right size,
so it didn't matter anyways.
But now you get AAA batteries and you'll be set. So next time it will be a complete success. So you literally got to demonstrate the steps of what we're going to be doing over the next couple weeks in a mini format. Like wham blam, thank you, ma'am. So you got to enjoy the adventure of being stuck and pushing through.
Yes.
So now you can take that whole experience and how it's happened for you and the determination that you've had, and you can compare it to other things in your life that you feel like you maybe don't have the strength to be able to complete. How fun.
Examples in it all. I heard this other beautiful way to look at being stuck. One lady said a good question to ask yourself when you're feeling stuck is, what season of life are you in? Have you heard of the seasons of life? She explains them like this: you have the time to plant, you have the time to nurture, and you have the time to harvest. So when you're planting little seeds for the things that you want to happen. And if we're practicing Wu Wei in the same sense, you know, what'll happen to those seeds? They might not come to fruition. They might start to sprout and then die. You might not need those things. The things that you planted, you might not end up actually needing. But another way that you could plant seeds, like I was talking about before Braden joined, is by helping other people. When you help other people, you're planting seeds. And if you are stuck and you're planting seeds with other people, they might open the other doors that you might need in life,
Mm-hmm.
or bring you
Mm-hmm.
the things that you need to move forward, like people, connections.
Yeah. When you take the focus off of you and put it onto somebody else, it definitely opens up a lot of opportunities, a lot of which that you don't even weren't even ready to know. Yeah. Oh, whoa, hold on. Mm. Being able to take the opportunity to take your challenge and make it a blessing instead of a lesson. And that really, again, is based off your perspective. Like, how are you perceiving this? Because it can be a lesson, but it can also be a blessing if you allow it to be, and see where it is actually blessing your life instead of focusing on where you want something or where something should be at.
In
That's
a
another
way
sneaky
that's also
way.
practicing gratitude. If you
Yeah,
view
very
it
much
as
so.
a blessing instead of keeping a negative mindset that everything's working against you.
And when you do that, and you keep that gratitude mindset, it helps you start seeing the positive perspective in things.
I
So it's a good
just called
practice to
myself
have.
out mentally.
Yeah.
What did you say? If you look at it as a blessing instead of everything, oh, that's what I said. If you look at it as a negative thing, like everything is working against you. I have said that so many times in the past, like 3 or 4 days. It feels like everything is working against me. In particular, when my nephew is napping and everybody keeps waking him up, and it made me so mad. And I keep getting so angry because everything's working against. I say it feels like the world is conspiring against me and
Maybe it is.
trying to
Maybe the
force things. What
Yeah,
a way to
maybe the
look at
world
things.
is. Maybe it is trying to conspire against you so you can see. Like,
I
it's getting extra loud because it wants you to
real
hear what it's trying to say.
My goodness. Yeah,
I
yeah.
love it.
That's one perspective I could work on when I get frustrated and irritated and short tempered.
It's normally
Gratitude
the
with me.
quickest way to
Practice
get away from
gratitude.
it, you know?
It is though. It really is because I can already feel the energy shift instead of looking for all the negative and looking for the lesson or the blessing in it
You know,
instead of trying to control it so much.
a mini thing that I like to do, a little brain booster, if you will, is I like to say challenge accepted. It's the moment you say challenge accepted, you can't be mad at the thing anymore because you're accepting that challenge. And then your brain does this weird switcheroo where it starts problem solving the issue instead of being stuck in the issue. So if you guys are feeling you need that extra little boost, give that a shot. The challenge accepted. And say it out loud, challenge accepted. Hell, if you really want to use your first name, I so and so accept this challenge. It's crazy what it does to your brain. Give it a shot.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
So what's your oh no we talked about that. So you're looking at just discovering for the sake of discovering a job that will give you more of you.
So I feel like I am in the planting stage.
Okay.
I am planting ideas and co-conspiring with life I am co-creating with life and being open to what comes to fruition, because I can't go looking for, I can look at where I might want to look at another job, but until my sister starts finding all their alternatives, um, I think my mind is just really content with the fact that I was vocal and honest about with myself and with my sister about my situation. So the fact that it is no longer a permanent thing, I can
Start stepping in another direction.
Yeah.
It's a good example of making room for the things that help you become you, you know? And it's cool because, you know, you had your time and your season and there was lessons and blessings aplenty in that whole thing, but you can see it is coming to a close. It's worked its path.
I'm still working towards saving money for a house. So that is still the end goal in the future. You know, we're going to get a house. We're going to save money. We're working on building our spending habits and cultivating a good saving habits.
Start getting honest with yourself about how you feel about your money.
Yeah.
That's a hard one for me.
Yes.
Especially when you have a lot of it. It's like, oh, I have it right now. Even if I put some to save, I still have it, you know? And that's, yeah, I had to start asking myself, like, why do I feel that way about it? Why do I feel so antsy to want to hurry up and use the money that I worked so hard to accrue? And I want to save it for something better. So
hard to
why am I trying to
stop being impulsive?
Yeah, well, and that's just it. But like,
you get your
what
money,
is your
or
impulsivity?
before you get your money?
When you and just think like we've conditioned ourselves, because I have terrible spending habits, I'll admit it. But we've conditioned ourselves to enjoy the dopamine rush we get from doing the micro spending, the nickel and diming ourselves. So it's recognizing that and then working backwards. It's all right. So I want a rush. I need a fix. That means I either got to get that through spending less money or change my focus somewhere else so that I can get that dopamine rush. And it might be push-ups. It might be, I don't know, whatever your fix is. Might be an extra big pull of pot smokes. What?
Creating habits, creating healthy habits or different habits. I noticed the more that I don't know how to say it. I spend less money if I push myself outside, like to go for walks and stuff.
I'm your
You get antsy
opposite.
and you
The
want to
moment I'm
buy
outside,
small
I want to
things.
go buy.
Really?
Oh yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm outside.
When
The
I'm
sun is
bored,
shining. I got
and
money in my
stuck in my
pocket.
house, I want to buy things. I want to buy
Oh.
food. I want to satiate the boredom with things. So if I put it in my head that I'm gonna go do something else that takes me away from the stores, like go for a nature walk or with my dog, then I'm not anywhere near where I can buy things, and then I'll be busy for like an hour or so.
I'm outside and
I feel good.
I'm outside and I get the rush from the sun, being out in the sun and the Philly goods, and then I'm like driving. I'm like, man, I'm right by a store. Oh, I could use this. Oh, and I realize it's sneaky, it's hidden. Like I don't realize I want to buy something for the sake of buying something. I've already found an excuse to go get something, and I absolutely don't need to.
Or you condition yourself that you get that happiness when you get a certain thing. Like my thing is fancy coffees.
Oh, yep.
If I get a fancy coffee, I feel good. So if I'm having a rough morning, if I get a fancy coffee, I'll feel better.
Yes. Like we've convinced ourselves of so many things that they're literal crutches, you know? And it's not to say it's a bad thing, but it's definitely like those things need to be brought into, like reined in. It's okay to have that splurge, but we can't use it as a crutch. Otherwise,
things in moderation.
And that's the beauty of like getting into this part of finances. It's really like, it's not look at your spending habits and look at where you're spending money. It's really asking yourself in the moment, why am I spending the money that I'm spending? Getting really intentional. Because until you do that, you can never I won't say never, but it's a lot harder to accomplish being fiscally responsible with your money because you're not addressing a core discrepancy within yourself. You're just forcing something to be a certain way, and it'll only last as much as your willpower lasts. And let's face it, willpower is just like a muscle. It can be exhausted. Willpower is a great thing to have in your arsenal, but to be solely dependent on it, you're asking to crash at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'm not doing so hot with the money thing. I'm doing decently. I'm doing better than I would have done like even a year ago. But I still got a long ways to go, and it's a little bit frustrating because I feel like I'd be
There's
a bit
some
farther than
hard
I am.
habits to break, especially, I don't know. I want to say if you come, if you are accustomed to not having money, or from the mindset that, I don't know how to phrase it. Some people get really stingy with money, so like if
Mm-hmm.
you're constantly hoarding it because it's never gonna be there, so you can't
Yeah,
use it. It
it's a poverty mentality.
it
That poverty
comes from
mindset.
fear,
Yes. Yes.
and
Well, and there's a lot of that. There's a lot of different small micro things where, it's equal parts of learning where to hold on to your money, but it's also allowing yourself to spend it where it's necessary to spend it when you have the money for it. Like tires. It's a great example. You want to buy tires because you need tires, but you also know you could probably go another few months, maybe even a year with the tires that you have. And when you have a little bit of excess cash, you're like, oh man, I have the money for those tires. But I also means I have the money for groceries and this and that. And having those moments to allow yourself to splurge on those tires because it is an investment. It is something you're going to eventually need to get to not feel bad about it and to know that money for the things that you need will be there when you need it. And that's why you have that extra money for the tires. You
that's
just got to
where I
allow yourself to go
struggle.
through. Yeah, me too.
I feel like
Me
I really
too.
struggle there because I feel I excuse away reasons to spend it.
Yes.
If we're gonna die, we don't know when we're gonna die. We could die tomorrow. Why do we need to save money? I
Well,
could be happy right now and create the memories, which is an excuse. But at the same time, when it comes to like needing tires, then I don't have that little savings because I'm not
yep.
saving because
Yep.
I might die tomorrow. So just spend it anyways. A
Yep.
nice
Yep.
healthy balance. You gotta fight those
Yeah.
habits, and it's
And
hard
it's just like,
because I feel like saving money comes from the fear mindset, but it's not. I'm investing. I'm investing in my future, in my kids, and my family for a better
well,
thing.
and when you're looking at it from that other point, that poverty mindset, when you have poverty mindset, you are putting the energy of lacking, and then it's hard to come across the money. It's hard to come across the opportunities because you're putting it out there that you have lack. When you say you have lack, that is the area that you stay in. So I've really been super mentally intentional with my money in the aspect of like, you I had $500 saved. I was really stoked about it. But now I have my truck that I need to fix, and it's a must. It's a little bit different because it is a must. I need a vehicle, right? But the same, right? It's kind of like, ah, man, like I finally have the money for this. I'm trying to finally have money saved up, and now this happened, and we all have that perspective, right? But I'm trying to change it where it's like, I'm so glad that that money that I was trying to save for something else is here for me to use in this moment for this thing that needs attention now. And I
It's a
know that more money,
blessing lesson.
yeah,
Not
and
a
I
world is
will.
conspiring against me. Look
Yes,
at you go. Good job.
and I know that there will be more money to come into my future to help me with the things that I need in my future. And as I have the money to save for the things that I want to have, it will eventually be there when the time is right to have it.
That is so hard.
So that,
That is so hard. I know I absolutely struggle with that. Be
yeah,
so
I think,
frustrating.
well, it's so sneaky. Like a lot of people do, and a lot of it comes from our parents. I remember my parents all the time talk about not having the money for things. So there again, it kind of gets beaten into you in their own subtle ways.
Yeah, but just
Like, like,
holding on to the mindset that, it's a good thing that you had that money because you needed it. Instead,
yeah,
I feel like it would be a lot easier for me to hold on to the whole, like, dang it, dude, I saved up that money for the thing that I wanted to do, and now I can't do the thing because I got to do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dang it, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I try, and it just doesn't work. Instead of
Mm-hmm.
coming
And then when
from the
you,
mindset that, you know what, I did save, I did good, and I did need it, and I had
yeah,
it when I needed it.
and the difference in those two mindsets, what's
Perspective.
beautiful about those, is like the first one that you were talking about that really drives home this disappointment in saving money. And that's what you associate it with.
Right?
Whereas the second mindset is really showing gratitude for even having money saved, which is like
Right.
already a new thing, you know, like to be able to have the money for the thing that I need fixed instead of, well, shit, I guess I'm going to be out of a car for 5 weeks until I can save up enough to get it done.
It's ridiculous how much power shifting that perspective has. Because just thinking about how I would respond to that and the way that I would have, I don't know that I would have, but I know that when you were explaining it, that's where my brain was going, like, oh man, I would be so disappointed. I didn't have that money anymore for the thing I wanted. And you close off so many doors
Mm-hmm.
and so many things that you could do with it instead of accepting it as a lesson and a blessing that you had it when you needed it and you did save, period. Then
Yeah.
you give
It's
yourself
acknowledging the
that your
small
own
ones where it's at.
satisfaction, your own validation, because instead of dismissing it and dismissing what you accomplished, or what was the word I used? Disapproval.
Yes.
You invalidate yourself and you take away your own self-confidence by
Yes. You're breaking yourself
being
down.
negative about it.
Yeah. So it's
And if you
kind of like,
shift your perspective, you give yourself some love and acceptance and gratitude and um so much more.
yeah. Yeah. It correlates back to your whole light situation. Like, dang, not this time, but next time. Dang, not this time, but next time. Dang, not this time, but next time for sure. Eventually, the batteries. That was your success.
It
And you
was.
were all about that success until they weren't the right batteries. And then it's all out the window. Fuck it. Nothing matters. But instead, you know, like I'm glad that I got the batteries because it brought me to the attention of knowing I didn't have the right ones. And you know what? Those batteries will be used for something else.
They will,
Christmas
dude.
is right
I
around the corner.
absolutely need those batteries for my TV remote. We've
Yeah,
been
see?
switching batteries from this remote to this remote for like 2 months now. So
So
maybe
so
that's what
you know it all
was
worked
in my
out.
head.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need triple A for this or double A. They were double A. You know what? I swear to God. Oh my gosh. You know what? I swear. I'm gonna go home and they're gonna need triple A as well. They are. They are triple A. Fucking damn it! The remote batteries are
But no,
AAA
you
too. But
have
you know what takes double A? Vibrators.
and Christmas presents. A lot of Christmas presents. A lot of kids' toys. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Trying to find the positives in this rating.
Indubitably. Well, yeah, you're prepared for Christmas.
You're right, Christmas.
Yeah, and those other things.
Oh, we'll find a reason to use them. We always need them. Toys, lights.
You could do experiments with them with the little copper wire, like the makeshift lighters. Yeah,
It's
you ever done
progress.
that? Take a
I
copper wire,
don't
put it
think
on
so.
either end, or one copper wire, and you wrap it. You hook it. And you get them one on the one end of the wire on the positive, one end on the negative, and then like stick it to any flammable object, and it will catch fire.
Stay here. There's things in the dark, but she can't see them. It's okay.
And
One
it goes bumping.
thing
And you're
I
like,
wanted to touch on was the whole seasons of life thing. When you are planting seeds and whatnot, understanding which phase of life, season of life that you are in.
and honoring it.
So yes, and using it to its fullest. So if right now I'm in the planting stage, I will be planting seeds. I am planting seeds. I am not yet in the nurturing stage where I have officially planted all the seeds and now it's time to water them and wait for them to bloom, and care for them and weed and do all that. I don't know how to phrase it, but when you have planted your seeds and you're waiting for them and you're nurturing them, you don't want to harvest too early. If you plant your seeds and then you dig them up right away and now you need to do the things and you're trying to force it, you're not going to have what you want. They haven't
You gotta
grown,
let
they
it
haven't
grow.
sprouted, they
Yeah.
haven't fruited. So,
And how have you nurtured your tree? Yeah, you've watered it, you've given it thought, but what kind of efforts have you put in? Is it ready for that nourishment to take hold and actually grow into something?
yeah.
Maybe it needs more attention.
Yes. So, when you ask yourself, what season of life are you in?
Think about what's going on in your life.
And
Where are you
honor it to the
currently at?
fullest.
Yep. Are you taking care of business right now? Are you trying to find business right now? Or are you reaping the benefits of the business that you have created? That business being anything to do with making your life the way you would like to ultimately see it be.
Yes, yes. And we'll check back in next week and see what season of life we're in next week.
And y'all feel free to start your own little mini projects and then comment in next week on your own progress. It'd be cool to be able to see a collective of things going on, watching people do the things, getting excited about the things, talking about the downsides and the failures of the things. Get active, guys. Get active in the group. Say your 2 cents. Give us your feedback, your thoughts, your hard questions, your contradictions, all of it. That's how we all grow and learn and get more. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think
that's
that
all
can
I have.
conclude our being stuck discussion today.
And we will carry it on next week and see how stuck we still all are.
Where we're at getting unstuck.
Yes, because that is the goal.
Yes. Moving forward, practicing gratitude, practicing Wu Wei, going with the flow, and recognizing what season of life we're in.
Yeah, quit fighting yourself, guys. Let stuff just unfold. Just because, I don't know, there's something that some philosopher said once upon a time, and that was, if you don't have to make a choice, then don't. And the perspective that I see it from with that is, when you're in a situation where you're ready to make a choice, you feel like you need to make a choice, you're like, I gotta do the things. You don't have to, unless it's necessary, unless you absolutely have to make that choice. It's a do or die situation. You have all the time in the world to choose when to make that choice. It's kind of like when you get mad at somebody and you're ready to rip somebody's head off. You don't have to do it right then. You can choose when to do it. You can give yourself a moment and what level do I really want to come at this person with, you know? So same thing with the choices of life. Quitting a job, starting a job, finding a job, you know, starting a habit, quitting a habit, finding a habit, all of it. You don't have to force what you've got, what you want for your life. Just watch it
Don't remember
unfold,
who
and as it
said it,
unfolds,
but
you'll see
there's a quote
it.
that goes, nature doesn't hurry, and yet everything gets done.
Yeah, and it's weird because they create the seasons with their everything gets done in no hurry. Yet we make ourselves feel like we got to go through all the seasons so quickly.
Right.
Life is as slow or as fast as you'd like it to be. It's based off your perspective, and it's a hard thing to gain control over, especially when control doesn't get you anywhere.
Why be
In
in
understanding,
such a hurry to cross the finish line? The only thing after the finish line is death. Enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Life's a journey, not a race.
Be here for the experience of your life.
Yeah.
Eventually you'll get to the point where you get to choose which experiences you want to have, because you'll get good at learning how to choose instead of always feeling like you don't get the choice. It'll all change. And that's my super short show.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Until next time.
Next week we will continue.
Live long and prosper.
Have a wonderful evening.